Ladies and gentlemen, over the past 48 to 72 hours, there has been a plethora of gaming news, leaks, rumors, updates, specifically for the Nintendo Switch 2. So what we're about to do is talk about those updates, rumors, news, and leaks, and I probably have a couple extras that you haven't heard about. Let's go ahead and get right into this video. So yes, I have been on vacation for the second time in like 2 weeks. I just got home. And looking at the news, there was just so much going on. So that's what I really want to talk about. So some of this you probably already know about, but I also have a new patent as well that when I sit here and think about it, I have to touch my head to think apparently. When I sit here and think about it, I cannot tell what the hell this device is from Nintendo. It almost looks like a second controller that has a touchscreen. So we have a lot to talk about. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, that would really mean the world to me. Also, follow me on Instagram and Twitter so we can keep the communities growing. And let's just go ahead and get right into this one. So the first thing I would like to do is talk about Pokemon Winds and Waves. I almost said Pokemon Pocopia because that game truly took over the world. You know what's funny is I am a diehard Pokemon fan. I've played all of the games. I'm thinking about starting up Pokemon Black 2 right now. You know, that's how much I love Pokemon. I'm always playing a game, like every other month, some kind of Pokemon game. But Pokemon Pocopia, I just feel like I will sink too much time into it, but eventually I know I will still find a way to play it. But Pokemon Winds and Waves, I am so excited for. And I don't know if the last game was, you know, kind of splitting people down the middle, but I really did enjoy my time with Pokemon Legends EA. And one of the things I really liked, like how you would do stuff out of battle, whether that be catching Pokemon, or while you're battling, you're moving around and it felt like, you know, you're watching the show or something. Kind of how we always wanted Pokemon to be. Now with Pokemon Winds and Waves, I am very, very excited for this game. I cannot wait to play it, but unfortunately, it's one of those games we have to wait. Honestly, I'm not even kidding, probably till next November, if I had to guess. You know, next October, somewhere around there. Like, it's going to be far in 2027. So we still have quite a ways for this game to come out. I'm sure we're going to get other Pokemon games in the meantime, but there has been a lot of Game Freak leaks coming out, Pokemon leaks, whatever, and we're seeing some of those for Pokemon Winds and Waves. And I really like what I'm seeing here with this battle mechanic and catching Pokemon mechanic. There's a lot of videos out there, but what I'm going to be showing you is just a GIF that is doing something over and over. And at first, it doesn't look like much, right, when you're comparing it to Pokemon Legends EA. But as we know from other leaks, Pokemon Winds and Waves is really supposed to put a big emphasis on weather, you know, whether it's sunny, raining, windy, tornadoes, hurricanes, typhoons, whatever. And on the right of the screen, you're seeing them throw a Pokeball out in Pokemon Winds and Waves. And as soon as they throw the Pokeball out, you can see the character almost like they're blocking wind or some kind of weather. And I think it's small little tweaks like that. Like, obviously we're not seeing much yet, but I think Pokemon is really going to cook, or Game Freak, or, you know, Nintendo, whoever you want to give credit for this. I think they're really going to cook on this Pokemon game. I'd go as far as to say it's going to be one of the greatest Pokemon games of all time. And I know coming from the track record in the last decade, it doesn't seem like that. I could see this truly being one of the best Switch 2 exclusives we get the entire generation. And I am very excited for that. Now, a couple more quicker updates before we get into some of the bigger news. We have two games that have recently been rated. One of those, we know what it is. The other one, we also, I guess, technically know what it is. But it almost feels fake, even though we got like an official announcement it was in development. So the first game I'm talking about is Monster Hunter Wilds for the Nintendo Switch 2 has been rated in Germany. Does this mean this game is coming soon? It doesn't. But as far as I know, the way ratings works is you have to have like 80 or 70% of the game completed, I think, for ratings to work. And correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, because just saying that, I feel like I'm wrong now. But I know the game has to be doing well for it to get rated. So Monster Hunter Wilds coming over to the Switch 2, yeah, we're probably actually going to see this. It's going to be a real thing. And knowing the way Capcom's been working recently, I'm inclined to believe it's going to be a great port. And that sounds crazy, especially seeing how this game struggled on like PC and the more powerful consoles, Xbox and PlayStation 5. And we also have Metaphor ReFantazio being rated by the ESRB for the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, this game was recently shown off in the last major Nintendo Direct we got, and to be honest, it's something we've all been expecting we would get at one point or another. I honestly thought this was going to be a launch game for the Switch 2, but they gave us Persona 3 Reload first, and while it wasn't a launch game, it was kind of in like the launch window, I think September, October of last year. And yeah, I never beat it. I did get 30 hours into it and I had a lot of fun, and I think the port was fantastic. So I am very, very excited for this. I honestly thought this is something they would like hold off for a while. Maybe this would be the Atlas release for the Nintendo Switch 2 for the holidays. But I could see this showing up in September now. At the latest, honestly, October. But I feel like this is one of those games that's going to show up sooner than later. And I'm actually very excited for that. Because I cannot get enough of JRPGs, and luckily the Switch, as well as now the Switch 2, are just a powerhouse for JRPGs. So over the weekend, maybe Friday moving into Saturday or somewhere around there, we started getting multiple big Ocarina of Time remake leaks, and all of these were coming directly from Nintendo. Now one of them is official, like directly from the Nintendo website. Another one of them is, I mean, arguably a way bigger deal, again coming from Nintendo, but it's almost like reading between the lines. Does this mean what this means? Is my cat over here? I don't even know if you can see my cat on camera. I'll move this over. She's over there. She's always like snoring and making crazy ass noises, and I forget I have a cat. I'm always like, what the hell is that? One of these leaks is massive, truly, because it tells us when we are potentially getting The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake, like the day it's going to release. And I've been saying this in other videos, and a lot of people kind of push back. Not so much in a negative way, just like, I don't know if Nintendo would do that. It doesn't make sense, but I feel like I'm right. So let's get into it. So first, obviously, you probably already know about these. The Ocarina of Time ESRB rating is live, and it has been rated E for everyone, which I'm not sure about the other games. What they think is different here, well, it is different here, but they're saying like they think this is going to play into. There is no suggestive themes like Ocarina of Time 3D and Majora's Mask 3D, or mild suggestive themes like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And somebody's saying, do you think they toned down the Great Fairy? Which I hope not. You know, being a man of culture, I hope not. It is what the kids yearn for. Voluptuous fairies in Zelda. It's so funny. Like, if somebody knows nothing about Zelda, and then you walk into the Great Fairy Fountain, and the fairy just starts moaning, and you're like, I promise this is not what it sounds like. So maybe they did tone down the Great Fairy. You know, honestly, I don't know on this one, but I don't think it's too big of a change. Like, a lot of people are reading into this saying, oh my god, it's going to be so different. They've really toned it down. It's going to be such a kiddie version of the game. And I honestly don't see that happening. Time will tell on this, but it is cool that it got an official rating, because that plays into what we're about to talk about now. And that is the Ocarina of Time remake, possibly releasing November 11th, based on Amiibo. And that is the Sword, Kirby, and Dragoon Amiibo from Kirby Air Riders. And this Amiibo looks like Link from The Legend of Zelda, or Zelda themed or whatever. And you know what's funny? At the time of this happening, the links were up. You could click it and see everything. Now when I click these links directly from Nintendo, the page is no longer found. So maybe they put these up early. What's interesting is November 11th, I believe, is a Wednesday. But this person who posted this, I think, was in the UK, and their website like switches some stuff. So it's actually releasing November 12th, which would be a Thursday, which would follow Nintendo's release schedule. I actually have this Kirby right here. I don't know if the camera will pick it up good. This is an official little figure, Kirby with a sword and a hat. And this Kirby is in a lot of games, like Kirby in the Forgotten Land and a bunch of other stuff. It's the Sword Kirby, but obviously it's based off Link from The Legend of Zelda. So yeah, it just seems like too much of a coincidence for that Amiibo to be releasing then. Zelda is releasing in November, like 100%, you know what I mean? And the only pushback you'll get is like, well, GTA 6 is coming out in November. Nintendo does not give a shit about GTA 6 at all. It's like, cool, that's awesome that they're releasing this game. That has nothing to do with our audience. There's an overlap, small percentage-wise, but you're either going to play GTA 6 or Zelda, or like me, you're going to buy both. It's not even, they don't mesh at all to me. I don't even like correlate one with the other. You know what I mean? So, yeah, no matter what, Zelda is releasing in November, in my opinion. So it doesn't make sense to have a Kirby Amiibo release on the 12th and then the game release later in the month. And that's what I've been saying. I've been saying I think the beginning of November we get Zelda. And some people were saying, I don't think so. They'll probably release it later in the month, closer to Thanksgiving. But I just felt like it's an early November game. I just think this is legit, you know? But from all the other leaks and rumors, September seems to be the general vibes where the 40th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda will kick off. So I kind of expect this month to be a little slow, but I'm okay with that. It gives you time to catch up on your backlog and just kind of chill out. And then September, kick it in full gear, and that will kind of play into the rest of the year. So we'll just hang out this month. I'm sure we'll get a bunch of other leaks and crazy dumbass stuff. But we are a month away from a very exciting time. And before we get out of here, I have to show you an insane patent from Nintendo that I found. So in this patent, they're talking about mouse controls. So you're like, well, I have a Switch 2 that has mouse controls. I've seen a million other patents. When they show mouse controls, they just show the Joy-Con 2, like on a table, being used as a mouse. They'll show you the Joy-Con 1. They'll show you kind of a general idea of what you're looking at. You're like, okay, that's the Switch, that's the Switch 2, that's a Joy-Con, that's a Pro controller. Sometimes they're vague and they'll just show you a rectangle console. So you're like, I don't know what the hell that is. This is truly something I have never seen from them before. They're talking about mouse controls, but this controller that they're showing off is also touchscreen. It is crazy. So let me show you. First, I gotta say, every time Nintendo draws a damn finger in a patent, it creeps me the hell out. The top finger looks like a grub worm, and the bottom finger looks like, well, it looks like something. But as you can see, it says object to be detected, which is the grub worm finger. Bottom of the surface, which is the screen, whatever. Then there's the bottom surface as well, which is also being detected. And then right here, you can see that there is a screen, which looks like a computer screen. And then the finger touching whatever the hell it is. And at first, I was just so confused. And you can see whatever's being controlled on the screen is being controlled by these touchscreen effects on whatever. And then now in this picture, you can see it's some kind of weird controller or something where there's buttons on the bottom surface. Like what the hell is going on? This might be upside down or something, because I can see some buttons and a joystick. Yeah, it's just so weird. Like obviously it's a controller, but it also has like some kind of mouse controls, but you're using your finger as a mouse, but it's also a controller at the same time. It is strange, it is weird, it is wacky. It is truly nothing like I've ever seen from Nintendo. And that's really what makes it so damn interesting. So man, I cannot wait to see what the hell this could possibly be in the future. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Because your opinion matters most. So in the comments below, I would love to hear from you guys. We talked about a lot today, but there's a lot going on, and that's very, very cool. So yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking. And if you made it to this part of the video, if you could do me a favor, hit a like and subscribe on the way out. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter on the way out, and consider becoming a channel member. I would really, really appreciate it. It is the ultimate way to support. And yeah, I just wouldn't be able to thank you enough. And you guys know me, I'll see you very soon with a new video. Peace.